Number one is most people don't treat it like a real business. There's usually two separate approaches that they take. Number one is it's some sort of a hobby. It's something that's going to be dabbled with. You'll kind of work on it one weekend and then you really won't work on it for a few days and then you'll work on it a couple of days later. You really need to pay attention to how you're treating your business because it is a business. Now, if you started a local shop where people needed to walk in your doors and actually buy things and you decided to haphazardly open when you felt like it, you decided to open one weekend, then you didn't open for a week or two, and then you open back up later, well, you wouldn't expect that business to really make it now, would you? But most people treat their internet-based businesses that way as if it's just a hobby, something you can go kind of dabble with, you can play with it when you want. Why is this thing not generating the kind of income I desired? The second way that people kind of, the type of attention people give to their business is that of an employee, thinking that I can sit at a desk behind a computer telling myself that I'm working on my business. But that's not enough, right? At a job, at a day job, you can just spend the time. You show up, you're there, you're at the desk, you keep that chair warm for long enough, you will get the paycheck. Obviously, you need to do certain things or you'll also get fired, but we're going beyond that. In a business that you own, you are 100% responsible for your results and you're paid based on the performance, based on what you create in this world. So you do have to put in the time. There's no doubt about that. And 40 hours a week for an entrepreneur, that's part-time, right? Real entrepreneurs work 60, 70, 80 hours a week, 7 days a week, every single week, because that's their life, that's their livelihood. But it's not just about the amount of time that you're putting into it. It's about the strategy. It's about the actions. It's about making sure you're taking those exact steps that are moving the right needles in your business. What's that? The cash flow, the profit and loss statement. That's really ultimately what you're moving forward. So since you're 100% performance based, you need to create two systems. And here's the kind of how to move to a successful entrepreneur side of this first one. Number one, the system that you need to create is how to attract and garner the attention and trust of people who have no clue who you are. I don't care if you're selling physical products and you're leveraging Amazon, or if you're selling marketing or coaching or mentorship products or downloadable how-to photography courses. You need to have mechanisms in place that allow you to not only capture the attention of your target audience, but also to build trust. Then the second thing you need to do is you need to have systems in place that are going to convert these people whose attention you just garnered into leads and into customers. So all of your attention full-time, 60, 70, 80 hours a week needs to be focused on those two systems that you're building out. And you're going to be building inefficient or not functional systems at first, and then you're going to refine them through testing over time. That's the work that we do, and it's the fact that we show up every single day working on how can I get the attention of my audience better? How can I build trust more quickly? How can I help them onto my list more efficiently? How can I get them turned into a customer more efficiently? When all our attention goes on those little aspects of the business, and we are just all about that, that's when the business starts to move forward. Number two is totally missing the point of a niche, right? I think so many people, the word niche bounces around. I'm almost thinking about stopping calling it a niche because people are flat out confused. So there's one group of people who think a niche is the product or the product line. And this is oftentimes seen in the physical product world, the FBA people, but a lot of affiliates do this too. And even some network marketers and MLMers, they will kind of back a product. They go find a product and they're like, cool, my niche is the people who want this thing. And that is the completely backwards approach. And you rarely, I've rarely, if ever at all, seen someone who makes real lifestyle changing long-term income with that approach, because it's completely backward. So the other mistake people do in the world of a niche is they enter a niche that's way too big, that has way too strong of competition. We live in the day and age of needing a modern niche. I did a video, I'm gonna have that video pop up above my head, where I not only explained what a modern niche is, but I went through and covered 13 individual niche websites that are all crushing it in their own right. Several of these websites are making over $1 million per year, to really give you real world examples of what it means to have a modern niche. And the big mistake people have, and when they go after like, oh, I'm gonna go in the make money online space, you're going up against the most competitive and most highly skilled marketers in the world, right? I've got 17 years of experience in this digital marketing game, and I see there's a veritable graveyard bombard now of people who are, they are swiping my covers. They are swiping my titles. They're literally swiping my videos and reproducing them, and they give up after 3 or 4 months because it's really, really tough to go up against extremely strong competition. So everything in the make money space, in the marketing space, all of that is incredibly high performance competition that you're going up against. Whereas if you go into a obscure sub niche like how to build racing drones or how to make vegan pet food, the competition from a marketing standpoint is so low that you're able to dominate that much more quickly. So that's the other way. And I think the biggest way of painting the picture of what you should look at a niche as is, or the other mistake is, most people forget that a niche is actually a group of people who are all seeking to accomplish a similar goal or solve a specific similar problem, right? That's a market, that's a niche, a group of people who have a common goal, a common need, or a common problem. And you as a marketer, you go create the content, the products, the solutions that help them solve their problems. So you must focus in on the audience first. And when you focus audience first, you focus your attention on their needs, their goals, their wants, their desires. You get to know who they are. You may actually be one of them. A reason why this channel, Teaching Internet Marketing, is doing so well that I started in 2016 is because I started making money online in 2013, and I've failed at over 15 businesses before one clicked and I scaled it up to $1 million, right? That experience, I was there. I don't care if you're making $0, $100 a month, $1,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $50,000 a month. I was there at some point in the past. Now I'm crushing it on levels beyond that. And the fact that I walked that walk, I know what you're going through, so I can communicate more effectively. You have to have that level of understanding about your audience. If you're teaching horseback riders something about riding horses, you damn well better be a horseback rider, and you better be able to help them actually achieve that goal, because that audience of people is looking to advisors, to experts, to helpful individuals who are going to help them solve their goals, solve their problems, achieve their goals, etc., etc. Then you want to meet them where they are at all times. You don't go shove products at people who need them, whether they need them or not. You need to meet them with a conversation that they're having in their mind, and then you need to walk them down your funnel, walk them down through pieces of content that paint the picture in the way that lead them to having the aha moment that your product is the solution that they're after. That might seem like a real small change, a real small tweak. From a theory standpoint, it might be. That is a very profound shift that most people don't get. Most people are running around and they think, cool, I'm back in this pen. That's what I do. I'm gonna go find some people to buy my pens, and they just run ads, and it doesn't work because they're not thinking about those end users on the other side who need, want, desire, or have a problem that your product solves. So that's the number two. And I think the best way to look at it is, I'm of service to this audience. How can I actually help this audience? That's the way to go about it. It's not about the niche. It's about the audience, that group of people. When you really have their best interests in mind, everything starts to get easy from there. Number three is a lack of strategic perseverance. And I had to put the word strategic in here because perseverance, just like it's, I'm doing my 40 hours every week, but you're not being strategic enough about what you're doing, you're going to fail. So if you're persevering and you're not being strategic, that's a problem. But most people flat out don't persevere. Napoleon Hill has a story. It's a great story in his book, Think and Grow Rich. And it's about being 3 feet from gold. And it's about a gold miner who was digging for gold in the 1840s in the hills of California, looking for his gold, and he stopped and he sold his mine for next to nothing, and he had literally leveraged the family's fortune or lack of fortune on this gold mine. Well, somebody who bought it was a geologist. They came by with a little measurement device, and they found out that the gold vein he was after was 3 feet away from where he stopped digging. Turned out to be quite the payload. They made millions and millions and millions of dollars because that one person, they gave up 3 feet from gold. So many people do this. I see it over and over and over. And there's a few reasons why people give up 3 feet from gold. I can tell you from my personal experience, I did 120 videos on this channel in 120 consecutive days. That is a brutal amount of work. It is an incredibly challenging thing to do, and I had 450 subscribers. That's an average of about 3 subscribers per video that I publish. Most people look at those results and say, this stuff doesn't work. But I realized, and here's one of the keys, that the power of compounding efforts and compounding returns on my efforts would happen if I stuck with it long enough. And that's why now, today, at 2.5 years of publishing, I've got 93,000 subscribers, quickly on my way to 100,000. I'll have more than 100,000 subscribers by the time I hit year number 3 on this channel. It's because all those early videos are bringing in traffic and my newer videos are bringing in traffic. So all of my traffic compounds, and most people quit before the power of compounding kicks in. That's a gigantic problem. So why do people quit is one of the key questions. Number one is shiny object syndrome. It's looking around and paying attention to ads and clicking through ads and watching webinars and paying attention to these thumbnails on YouTube that say how to make $1,000 a day on Pinterest, how to make $100 a day on ClickBank, how to make this much a day on that. Those types of videos are going to do nothing but confuse you from your strategy, right? You need strategic perseverance in order to truly make it. So that number one is thinking that the grass is greener on the other side. A lot of the fake gurus use flash. They'll use Italian cars, supercars. They'll brag about their lifestyle, making you feel like they know something you don't, or making you feel like their business model, whether it's FBA or affiliate or whatever it is, that's different than what you're doing, makes you feel that it's the model that's the problem. The model you're working with doesn't work, so you need a different model. And then you jump ship and you start over from zero, and all the effort you had that was starting to compound goes back to zero. Versus me at day 121 on video 121 consecutively on this channel, knowing that, nope, I'm running my race. Here's my strategy. I know exactly what my strategy is going to be for 5 years. I'm doing this many videos. Boom, I'm on it, right? 1,000 videos, 5 years, let's go. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm bringing out to the world. Ignore everything, blinders on, unsubscribe from everything, run my race. That's what I'm doing. That's why this is working for me. I call it fake guru flash, right? Anytime somebody's trying to flash their lifestyle, their watches, stacks of cash, cars, mansions in front of you, they're leveraging a very old psychological principle to sell get-rich-quick scams to you. This has been done since the 1890s. It was done at the turn of the century. It was been done all through the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, all through the 80s, and like literally, it's the same thing being done now. There was a day when a traveler would come in a horse and carriage, looking all flash, making big promises of riches. He'd sell a bunch of people in town, and he'd skip town with a bunch of money in his pocket, and no one would be able to make money from what he sold them. The same thing's happening now. It's just happening digitally, and their fancy carriages are Italian sports cars, and they just try to show off their life with their drone shots and their vlogs. You need to be very, very weary of people who leverage this type of psychological marketing, because ultimately it works for them. They make money when they sell you on it, but it doesn't work for the people who buy. It can't, by definition, if they're teaching what they're doing to that scale of people, it literally can't work for everyone. So the grass is not always greener, and the two things you need to focus on here is you need to work on a proven strategy, and you need to create a 5-year plan that you execute on relentlessly. Here I am, and I've taught the strategy here. Content marketing is one brilliant way of working it. Facebook ads to a funnel is another brilliant way of working it. Pick one strategy, commit to 5 years, and then you got to go all in. We're back up to the one before, the first one, which is you got to treat it like a real business for 5 years straight, and you got to grind on it very, very strategically. The second one is you need to work smarter, harder, and longer than your competition. A lot of people try to make it sound like, oh, well, you need to choose one, right? I work smarter person, or I work harder kind of person. No, you got to do both, right? Let's just be real. Like, you got to work smarter, you got to work harder, and you got to stick with it for longer. I'll let you in on a little secret. Your competition, I don't care what niche you're going into, your competition is already established. They've been there for years. They got a head start. So you need to outwork them in a way that you can eventually catch up to what they're producing in this world. And you need to be smarter than they are. You need to have some sort of a unique advantage in your back pocket. You need to have some sort of a secret weapon that's going to allow you to out-strategize them or outrank them or kind of leapfrog over them in some way, shape, or form. So it's brute force effort, the amount of time that you put in, it's how strategic you are, and then it's how long you apply that strategic effort over long periods of time. You can overtake any competition out there, but boy, you coming into this niche, you got a lot of people who are grinding on it with big teams, and we're funded. We got a lot of money in a bankroll to go put towards our marketing. You go up against the other bird photography people in the world, or the how to do fitness for horseback riding type folks. There's really maybe 1 or 2 marketers in any one of those niches versus thousands upon thousands of great, strong marketers in a niche. Pay attention to all of these things. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, that's for the comments. Give me a thumbs up, like it, share it, do what you do. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you on the next video. Cheers.